only 3 victories over the last 14 meetings for Argentina. And if they get a loss here today, it will really put pressure on Gerardo Martino. And with that in mind, going with a rather attack-oriented formation and pretty much throwing everything he has.
Aladdin's cave of wealth, of course, in the forward department. Missing, listen to these, Tevez, Kun Agüero and Messi. So you go with Lavezzi, Higuaín and Di Maria. Wonderful, and this is what they're coming up against in the Canarino. Look at that forward line.
A few changes. Ricardo Oliveira, the 35-year-old veteran who has discovered the fountain of youth in Santos. And speaking of Santos, the ex-star Neymar returning, and one of the current ones in Lucas Lima. A surprise addition to the starting lineup here today. Good look at the officials. Antonio Arias, the Paraguayan. Right, just to give you an idea of what we could expect. His nickname is Castrilli, after the famous sheriff, Javier Castrilli, the referee from Argentina. Do not get out of line. He'll bring you back. Eduardo Cardoso, Ilciades Saldivar, and Ulises Moreles, the other assistants, all from Paraguay. Arias, the 43-year-old from Puerto Casado. His ed teacher in his spare time. He'll need it to try and keep up the pace here today. Dani Alves seems to be ready, and so are we.
As always, he'll be wound up tighter than a guitar string. This Monumental stadium, built alongside a river, and it was doing that impersonation very well last night. Mascherano, of course, the favorite player in this stadium. Higuaín, in the form of his life, nothing less, is being sharper than Edward Scissorhands, and they're going to need him tonight to be the inspiration. And as you said, Phil, one of the big trade-offs has been the absence of Douglas Costa, who's been in imperious form for Bayern Munich, as we see some well-respected moments of grief and silence for what happened in Paris.
Silencio, por favor. La memoria de la tragedia ocurrida en París, Francia.
I have a feeling many of those in the stadium here today did not even realize what was going on across the globe.
Or if it's at all possible to put that sort of misery and lunacy behind us, we'll try to have some pleasure in watching a great game of football. This should be on an absolute high ledge. You see how Lavezzi and Di Maria, who play their football in Paris, react to this shocking news. But we'll try to put it behind us, Phil, for 90 minutes, because we will be entertained here.
And we are underway. A little help from above never hurt any referee. Out on the far side, Felipe Luis, and our first foul just 6 seconds in. Quickly restarted by Brazil.
More than eternal rivals, of course, eternal enemies on the sporting pitches, no matter what they play. As we said in the preview, Phil, there's no way to dress this up. It's a must-win for both these teams, and absolutely going to increase the pressure on the coaches of the losing side.
Runga taking a little of the pressure off with the
ball.
victory over Venezuela, but a loss against Argentina makes that seat hot again.
Beautifully covered there by Miranda, right on top of Higuaín.
Dani Alves charging through Rojo, has some space, tries to switch, but well covered by Roncaglia. Biglia dropping it back, and stepping into the challenge was Oliveira. Long ball blasted forward, and Higuaín just a little over-eager.
Tata Martino got a good bench, of course, so does Dunga, but at home, Argentina going with a lot of experience in place of some razzle-dazzle players. And Tata Martino has that tendency to trust more in the experience than the young legs of the likes of a Dybala. So we'll see how it would pay off. The first goal is going to be crucial, of course, in a game of such high tension.
Well, Miranda tracking it down. The Inter Milan defender, ex of Atletico, launched long. Mascherano intercepts. Wearing the captain's armband today in the absence of Messi. Biglia leading the break. Di Maria pulls it away. Whipped across Roncaglia. Slapped away Alisson. In front for Higuaín and cleared away by Alves. So close for Argentina, and they're keeping the pressure on.
Brilliant setup from out wide. Beautiful ball fizzed in. Higuaín couldn't settle it right in front of goal.
Banega.
Couple of great chances. This is where it started with Banega around the halfway line.
Lifted in by Di Maria, but it just curls off the left boot to safety.
This will get this crowd roused. That was beautiful football from the Albi Celesti. This is the end result. This beautiful fizzed in ball. That's an intentional hit. Beautifully played back into the track by Lavezzi for Higuaín, who just cannot settle it and turn and spank.
Credit to Arias for being ready to pounce and clear it away at the last moment.
Oh, so unfortunate. Left foot needed, wasn't there.
A lot of pressure on Higuaín considering his last appearances in the World Cup and Copa America.
Yeah, that's all.
Take a look at our player focus, and it's Angel Di Maria and Neymar. Di Maria, of course, at PSG, his mind perhaps a bit distracted at kickoff. Neymar, a return
beautiful
to the
touch by Di Maria to get it away from Neymar there. Showing good early signs. Argentina have coming into this game with exactly the right attitude. Oh, for a left foot. He's playing absolutely magnificently for his club in Naples, of course, and scoring goals for fun.
Nice touch, Rojo. Lavezzi into the 18, plays it square, missing Higuaín, still in danger, and Felipe Luis has to deflect Di Maria out for a corner.
Then wonderful by Ezequiel. He's hoping that Higuaín is going to start that run to the back post and keep going, but it's an impossible target to find. Not so sure if he sees the supporting Di Maria at the end, but he finds its target.
This will swing in towards Alisson, just his second cap, and the 6'4" Internacional keeper, no problem.
Yep, Dunga coming under scrutiny and criticism as well for leaving out Jefferson, the Botafogo man, and going with the young gun, Alisson, 6'4".
Well, Jefferson getting a bit of criticism from some of his recent performances. They've brought in the veteran Casio out of Corinthians as well. He's on the bench, but Alisson got the start against Venezuela. Had a 3-1 victory, and he's out there for a second straight match. Just 23 years of age, his age matching his uniform number. And if he gets a result here today, he might well be the keeper for Brazil for a while.
One for the future, that's for sure. And playing very well for Internacional. Well won.
Flash in the midfield, Argentina looking to pounce.
Got options here.
Di Maria hops to a stop.
Nicely.
Gets around David Luiz, his teammate at Paris, whips it across, and Higuaín not quite ready.
Magnificent by Di Maria. He gets the rub of the green here. When we take a look at it again, he goes into a challenge. Now watch the spin of the ball right here as he goes into this challenge, and then it holds up for him beautifully. Comes back and he whisks it in, and again, it's in the compass of Higuaín, but no stretch from the number 9, Gonzalo. Can it meet the train at the station to kiss it in?
Lavezzi at the near post. That one whistled past both of them. Good play by Di Maria, but nothing to show for it.
Good play by Argentina, Phil. In the opening 5 minutes, has been impressive.
Token pressure from Banega. Playing a bit higher now for Sevilla since returning to action.
This man on the ball's been arguably the best footballer in all of the EPL. Willian been playing lights out for Chelsea, and he's going to be thinking, what has he done to deserve this? His national team's been playing poorly up until that Venezuela game, and for Chelsea, they've been absolutely terrible.
Romero, quick
Meanwhile,
thinking.
Willian has been playing just imperious football.
Will give you an idea of how well he's been playing, especially on free kicks, Ray. If there's a foul outside the box, Neymar might not be the one to take it.
Yep.
That's how good Willian has been. Ball stripped away. Lucas Lima in pursuit. Now he'll get it again. Ex-teammate of Alisson at Inter until, in many ways, the player bought to replace Neymar at Santos. David Luiz tries to pirouette away. Biglia was ready, but straight back to Brazil. Arias. Just like Ricardo Oliveira, plucked away from the scrap heap by Dunga.
Wonderful quick feet there from Neymar. Outdid his confidence, world of good.
Nice to
Not
Lucas.
that he needs it.
Peels away from Mascherano. Good control for Willian. Tries to sneak it around Rojo. They'll settle for the corner. This is the 102nd meeting between these two all time, including friendlies. Dates all the way back to 1914. Played in Buenos Aires, a 3-0 win for Argentina that day. The home side would love to see that again.
Lucas Lima looking to ping this one in. Nicely dealt with it, a near post by Gonzalo. Oh!
And it turns on a break for Lavezzi. The speed of Di Maria. It's a foot race, and he'll get there. Whips it back across, but too close to Alisson. No chance.
Ball that he had. Felipe Luis does a good cavalryman's job to shut down that passing lane. And Di Maria tried to curling that one into stride. Right intention. But it took a ball. And we saw Barcelona, that Neymar was set up by Luis Suarez. Very similar type of position.
Back spin from Lucas. Oliveira using his height, but pretty well defended by Otamendi. Touched wide, and Neymar not quite ready for Luis Gustavo. He wanted a defeat. Luis Gustavo wanted to give and go.
There's
How quick they
break here. Lovely ball from Lavezzi. And there's that wonderful cover. Takes a look at his target, but can it curl it quickly enough the way Suarez did for Neymar?
Mori out to midfield.
Well played.
Alves.
And again, what a
Scoots
ball.
it over Lavezzi. Poked free. Alves again. Soft feet. Willian. Luis Gustavo.
The Brazilian, Phil, he invented soft feet.
Here's Raul Miranda. Dani Alves. Lavezzi closing in. They'll settle for the throw-in.
Nice mixture of high pressing from Argentina. Tata Martino, as I said, got a wealth of players to come in off of the bench if they do exhaust their stamina by closing down this midfield and back line. Once they get possession, dropping back nicely in shape, Argentina. There's that early press coming in, and they'll keep going with Biglia. Wins it.
Neymar trying to get a bit tricky, opens the door for Argentina. Banega dispossessed. Arias coming back again. Well, it was a gift from Neymar, something we've been talking about, Ray. In my mind, probably in the absence of Messi really stepping up his game, arguably one of the top players on earth. But you say correctly there, he gives it away too much.
He's so much give it away in that particular instance. To be fair to him, Phil, I think Lucas Biglia did a tremendous job of pickpocketing him. A big difference.
Seems to be a bit hurt, maybe got stepped on. Reaching to that ankle. They do not want to lose Neymar after waiting so long to get him back. Especially, they'll have one less day's rest than they were planning on, where they head to their next match against Colombia.
4-match suspension, duly served. He's vital for this team. His inspiration, of course, but his magic that we saw on full display last weekend for Barcelona. One of the most memorable goals of the season. Certainly took a nasty, yeah. Stick with him for a while, but he'll be fine.
Rojo off to this near side if they wish. Funes Mori will use him. Cutting back. Next is through the Antes man. Through Mascherano. Bumped by Lucas Lima. Scrambling in front, and as he's falling, keeps it alive.
Play it again.
Gets it to Biglia, but his pass off target. Good steal by David Luiz. Wide again. Neymar healthy enough to track it down.
Mascherano saying his apologies. That's the third time we've seen Mascher have not so sweet with his touch. He's to settle down into this game.
Mentioned the very first meeting in 1914, 100 years later, almost to the day. A year ago, October 12th, they met in Beijing in the Super Classico. 2 goals for Diego Tardelli. His reward? He's not on the national team anymore.
Well played.
William freezes Biglia, whips it inside, slight deflection Otamendi, enough.
Beautifully
Di Maria.
deflected away by Otamendi. Good break.
Give and go. Out for Higuaín. David Luiz backing off. Felipe Luis stepping in and pokes it free.
Held it up beautifully. Ezequiel, Gonzalo, excuse me, held it up beautifully, but just couldn't pull his well-oiled trigger for the release ball. But his hold-up play is impressive in that instance there.
First quarter hour winding to a close, Ray. You're at the stadium yesterday, the rain pouring down. They call the match off, and now you have another 24 hours to think about playing your arch rival. How much, for players of this caliber and experience, is that going to affect them?
It's fine. I think both teams have come in with the right attitude. Just tuning up the string even tighter. Probably had a good night's sleep afterwards. The thing was that they got the match called off early, so they weren't hanging around waiting for a decision hours and hours. Got to bed and locked the focus on this, and both teams starting out well. Argentina definitely got the impetus of pressing forward as the home team, as you would expect, or playing impressive football. This is as good as we've seen. This is the best we've seen Argentina by a good shade in this opening World Cup qualifier, because when they were shocked against Ecuador in that 2-0 loss here, it was staggering, and they were exposed ruthlessly. It looks like they've really learned from that.
It wasn't just that, Ray. Their next match, again, they were held goalless in a scoreless draw against Paraguay on the road.
Against Ecuador, though, defensively, they were stripped naked.
Ball poked free in the corner by Alves. Of course, what we've seen from Ecuador, Ray, they might be stripping a lot of teams along the way.
Absolutely wonderfully impressive last night again.
Perfect 3-0 start.
Yep, and if they've got a couple of softer games coming up as well, Phil, and it's historically Ecuador sitting in a beautiful position. Every team that's had 3 wins in the early World Cup qualifiers in South America have went on to advance themselves into the finals, so well done, Ecuador.
Ball played back on the other side. Venezuela 0-3 after they fell in La Paz. Nice performance by the Greens, 4-2 victors. No team has ever advanced after losing their first 3. Venezuela will try and turn that around. The other match, maybe the surprise of the bunch, Chile held by Colombia, or vice versa if you wish, 1-1 the score. Of course, Colombia, where Argentina heads next, and their Argentine boss, Jose Nestor Peckerman, reportedly under pressure. So it won't be easy once they get up to Barranquilla. Ball driven long, headed away by William, throw in, pick your poison. Back to Banega. Poor touch, just seems to be a bit off.
Mascherano.
Here comes Felipe Luis back at Atletico Madrid and seemingly back at his best. Poked forward by Neymar, appealing for a touch, but he's not going to get it.
I think he's appealing for the dive in into him as well.
Still seems strange. First time we've seen Neymar with the new haircut in his national team kit. Looks pretty good in the red and blue of Barcelona. Now Miranda off to Alves. Back comes Luis Gustavo. The roar starting to build at the Monumental. Stadium built about 80 years ago. This was a floodplain. They elected to buy it anyway. Off to the near side, Rojo tries to sneak it in, poked free by Alves. and who bought it, the ex-River president, Antonio Vespucio. Liberti, the stadium named after him.
Played.
Rojo. A little bit of space, deflected in front and whipped away by Miranda.
Again, he's got to be well pleased with the way his team have set about their business at home. Involving this crowd, drawing their applause. This is much more like the Argentina that we remember in Copa America.
This will again drive in on the 6'4" near debutant. Alisson appears fine. Thought about coming out, drops back as it bounces through the 18.
Otamendi looks as if he gets a good push into his back here in live time. Oh, man. Miranda just pushes right through the back of him. Take a look again. Referee in a perfect position.
Another corner, slapped away Alisson. Thought about coming out and has to reach back to keep it wide. Now Willian on the break. Drives it in. Otamendi knocks it away, and applause on the sideline from Dunga.
Willian recognizing that overloaded left side and trying to spank it out there. Good look at Dunga there, belly aching as he usually does about the press and all of Brazil not remembering his 52nd birthday the other day, and he let the press know it.
They didn't buy him a cake either?
No. Grouchy.
Dunga doesn't mean grumpy, does it? He was one of those seven dwarfs.
That's him.
19th minute, right in front of Tata Martino. Notice he's not sitting on the bench. It is more than a proverbial hot seat, but a victory against the arch rivals will go a long way towards cooling things off. Willian and Elias combined to get it out of danger. There is one more match tonight, by the way, on beIN Sports. Check out the website, beinsports.com. Peru against Paraguay. Paraguay off to a pretty good start, shaking the ghosts of 2014. Peru, one of the upstarts in the Copa America, but under Gareca, a little bit of a slow start, and they need a win tonight. Lavezzi goes down, and the sheriff with the whistle, and it looks like he's about to write his first ticket, or at least a good talking to. Alves lunging in a bit.
Seemed to win the ball fairly, but then his momentum carrying through. I don't think it was such a bad challenge. Attempt to win the ball, some sorting out in that midfield area. The engine room still looking good. Mascherano taking his deep position and allowing Biglia and Banega a little bit more freedom on that pressing action.
Otamendi.
Worked well so far. This man's had a good game.
Biglia.
Good 20 minutes. The great ball.
Off to the far side, Milciades Saldivar.
Very close, holds his line. I think he checks back onto the line that David Luiz is holding, and then at the moment of the ball is struck, just times it.
Cutting back Higuaín, well defended by Alves as they renew their rivalry.
What a ball.
Kept alive for Lavezzi, sweeps it to the goal line across the 18 and cleared by Felipe Luis.
Superb football by Higuaín. And he says, how close were we there? Holds his hands to his face. This brilliant play out wide, painted onto the dead ball line, Phil, and then had already recognized where his outlet was and found it beautifully.
Neymar, relatively quiet start. Not this time, shouting it over to Alves. Give and go from Willian, but well covered Rojo. Deflects inside, and Romero with a gentle gift.
Nice understanding between Alves, Neymar, and Willian there. And Shrewd, cool defending by the Man United man. There's that wonderful combination. Not hesitant. Tries to find Ezequiel Lavezzi there and cannons it off back to the goalkeeper.
His Red Devil teammate. I wonder if they work on that in practice.
Good ball.
Out wide, charging forward. Roncaglia looks, launches.
Aye, aye.
Looking for Lavezzi and met by Di Maria. Still in play. Or no, it wasn't. Just crossing the goal line.
Very close to finding the sweet spot on this. Wonderful play down this side here. Nice ball to lead. And then wonderfully cut back for Di Maria, arriving late. Just kind of get his knee and that swinging left leg over the top of the ball. That's an intentional pass. Headed away.
Alves keeps it in. Referee says keep playing. Lavezzi spinning away from William.
And Higuaín really finding his feet beautifully.
Biglia for Banega. Well defended. Blasted up and just over Alisson's net by Banega from long range.
Get it underneath this ball right from the first movement of his leg. He's always swinging underneath the ball instead of following through. Lovely play here. Releases himself and gets it back, and you'll see it's always flying over the top. Wonderful by Di Maria. Just kind of stab through the ball to keep it on a lower trajectory. Crowd well into this game, liking what they see, especially from Gonzalo Higuaín, who, as you said, Phil, at the World Cup, of course, and the Copa America, heard the boos and the boo birds out there, whistles, but playing very well. You know, absent from the Albi Celesti for a good while, given their wealth of riches up top, but being impressed the way Higuaín's movement has been, certainly holding the ball up beautifully. He's had a couple of great looks at goal, just not able to extend those legs of his, the ex-Real Madrid man. A goal-scoring record for Real Madrid as well, almost a goal every other game. Highly underrated at the White House.
They elected to hold on to Karim Benzema, though.
Yep.
And it worked well, although now you might understand if they were having a few second thoughts. Banega. Back to Otamendi. Roncaglia. Fiorentina man. What a good start they've been off to if you've had the chance to watch Serie A on beIN Sports. Lavezzi leaves William. Nice from Banega. Think about this, Ray. Mascherano, along with Neymar and Alves, is a hard hit. Di Maria goes down.
It's Dani Alves that comes through the back. Barcelona against ex-Real Madrid. You can expect this.
I was going to say, Ray, in a week from today, that rivalry renewed, so some huge matches for these players. Of course, you can catch that right here on beIN Sports as well. 20 minutes left to go in the opening half. Most of the action has been around
Wonderful
the young netminder.
Tempting position here to drop this ball into that sweet spot between Alisson in this back line. This man on the ball could drop it into a thimble if he wanted, usually.
5 ready to charge in, wearing the sky blue and white. Di Maria. Out comes Alisson to punch it away. Well handled by the Inter keeper. Quickly taken. Roncaglia with a bit of space. Quickly shut down, though, by Luis Gustavo.
That's some good confidence build-up. The 23-year-old Internacional man. Alisson in between the sticks. Came and claimed comfortably, confidently. His fists of fury, getting the ball out of dodge, away from Higuaín, and also his head lady look, flashing her eyelashes at him, because there's been a couple of opportunities that have just wriggled off the hook for Argentina.
Dani Alves moving to the front post to head it clear.
Not so much the other way though. Still, Sergio Romero sitting in his rocking chair back there. Neymar waiting in the long grass.
Down goes Allison. You wonder as he flew out to punch that last cross away.
Aye.
Didn't appear to be much contact.
Not at all.
Wonder whether he twisted something as he landed, although it looks like it's his wrist.
Well, as I said, fists of fury come at a cost, evidently. Not looking good. He came to punch it, he says. He felt something a little untoward.
Again, mentioned that Dunga, as of the last couple of games, has been moving away from Jefferson, who was his goalkeeper of choice at the start of his second reign. And now he might not have a choice. They're going to put a little extra tape at Ray in a match like this against Argentina. You can't really go with a one-handed goalkeeper.
He's been getting plenty of meat and potatoes on his punches, that's for sure. Distance and plenty of strength. He certainly felt something.
Martino, Jorge Patasso. Patasso barking instructions to their Argentine players, and one of them has probably launched the ball in there and test the Brazilian keeper. No room for sympathy tonight. They also do have Casio available on the bench, although the 28-year-old goalkeeper out of Corinthians yet to make his national team debut. Approaching the 30th minute. Over Oliveira. Lucas tangled with Biglia, who from the ground gets a touch and wins it back for Argentina.
Again, every time he's challenged for the ball, Biglia, he's come out with it.
Higuaín into the middle. Miranda snuffs out the chance. Nice from Arias. Well, if Jefferson is goalkeeper non grata at the moment, probably not permanent. Felipe Luis deflected cross. I mean, just take a look at Arias, who was years away from the national team. Way back at the start of his career, after a year's absence, Dunga brought Ricardo Oliveira in, and now towards the end of his career, after an 8-year absence, he brings him back.
Not much cut and thrust about this Brazilian attack. A half an hour in. Set plays, the big equalizer, as you like to call it, Phil. But they've got themselves in a good position here now. Good ball.
Driven across Willian, but the whistle had blown with the ball in the air. And that is one advantage. You take a look at Ricardo Oliveira with his height. Otamendi and Funes Mori, barely 6 feet tall. Just skips away from Lavezzi. Arias covering.
And Rojo measuring that tiny little window of opportunity down that left side. Stretching this game out as well, Argentina, on this counter-attack. But it's Brazil that are patiently defending it and just waiting for their opportunities. As I said, not too much true cut and thrust about the attack as we're used to seeing
Barcelona
a Brazil
clash.
team, but not a Dunga side. Much more patient in defending, and taking that is a good positive way of battering down Mascherano's midfield and keeping the forwards bottled up as best they can. Argentina has certainly been much more elusive on their breaks.
Headed down Neymar. Is it a case of Barcelona, Brazil getting used to playing without Neymar and now trying to fit him in?
It's a great pass.
Felipe Luis inside and Romero, Johnny on the spot. María weaves in, tripped up by Felipe Luis. And they will bring it back and call the foul. Seventh against Brazil.
Felipe Luis says he didn't mean it, but I thought that should have been a yellow card, and Mascherano knows it as well. This is a very deft, canny piece of defending by Felipe Luis. When you look at it, there's the clip. He can say all day long that he didn't mean it, but that for me is wonderfully old school. I never meant it, ref, but I think he did.
Little defender's trick running across the heels. And the yellow card will be coming out. Well, back in the Paraguayan first division,
well,
he averages about 4 yellows a match.
Arias knows the game, must have played it himself, recognizing that is fully intentional. I think he was right.
Ray, as I mentioned, his nickname is Castilla, after the old Argentine referee whose nickname was the Sheriff. No doubt where the law lies tonight. 33rd minute.
Man on the ball. Can't remember one clear opportunity that Brazil have either created or had the good fortune to latch onto. It's been very quiet in between the sticks. This is all going Argentina's way, bottling up the danger men of Brazil, like this man on the ball. But offensively, they've been doing that part of it, and offensively, Rojo's men doing a good job of creating impending danger. Stands for nothing, just like the scoreline.
Ray, now close to 340 minutes of competitive play without a goal for Argentina. With all the possession, it means nothing if they can't find a goal.
Yep.
Whipped away, Roncaglia.
Not the best ball by Luis Gustavo. Had an open Neymar, wasn't able to find him with the accuracy.
Advantage. Lucas popped away, and Banega pounces. Help out wide, and Di Maria, the red boots flashing for the ex-Red Devil. Good ball forward for Higuaín. Lavezzi bursting inside. He's going to get there, and he's going to put it home. The crowd is over, and Argentina's in front.
Absolutely wonderful Albicelestial football indeed, with the three men that are out. The heavenly, wonderfully orchestrated attack that is Argentina. They're all in the act here. Di Maria, Lavezzi, Higuaín. He's the thunder at the end of this lightning attack, but credit to Di Maria and Gonzalo Higuaín. Ball started, Banega finds a simple ball out wide. Lovely little bit of hocus pocus from Di Maria. Sets Higuaín off, and that's an absolutely magisterial pass. He steers this, he sees his target, and he takes it all into consideration. It's a red carpet pass. Gonzalo Higuaín sets the table, and it's a beautiful finish. We've seen them missed, seen them cannoned over the top, but right there, from a number of options, Ezequiel Lavezzi has found PSG to Napoli, back to PSG for the opening goal. What a pearl of a goal, Phil. That was a cracker.
Maybe a small reason for Parisians to smile tonight.
There's that quickness on the break. As I said, they're looking sparkier, they're looking more accurate with their passes. That goal was knitted together over great distance, and it was immaculate.
Now looking for an equalizer, Willian. Good ball inside, but Romero cuts it out at the near post. 7th goal in his 47th match for Lavezzi, and the last goal in competitive play for Argentina way back in June. Gonzalo Higuaín, the final nail in a 6-1 semifinal win over Paraguay in the Copa America. Ooh. Ball pops through, Romero denies. Chance for Oliveira on the defensive blunder.
That's what he's there for. Big Sergio Romero, 6'4". He needed to spread himself out nicely, and he just did the job against the Santos man. We couldn't poke it past him.
After that Paraguay match, they went, of course, 120 and penalties in a scoreless draw to fall against Chile in the Copa America final. Started qualifying for Russia 2018, losing at home against Ecuador 2-0. Went to Paraguay and Asunción and couldn't score there. Took 34 minutes, but now the drought is over. Can they make the floodgates open? Flipped forward, Arias. Stolen. Otamendi, not once but twice.
A foul.
And Luis Gustavo trying to show him which way is down.
Otamendi showing him the way home here. A wonderful interception, and then wasn't allowed to continue his run. Certainly clear foul by Luis Gustavo.
The referee trying to make sure things don't boil over. Let's see if there is something at the end of this.
He wins it fairly, comes across and he's getting grappled. Nothing wrong with Otamendi stepping across in between the player and the ball. It's in his possession. Good refereeing quickly, identifying the foul.
No card to follow, but a restart now for Argentina.
Yeah.
8 minutes left in the first. Banega. Rojo. Willian over. Driven across the 6. Snaps down wide of Allison's net. Good chance for Funes Mori.
The ex-River Plate man rises and sends a little bit of a bouquet back to his fans in this stadium. His ball played out wide, and it's a stinger pass over this distance. Lovely play from Rojo. Look at the rising majesty of the Everton man now.
Funes Mori, of course, he and his brother both getting their youth start at FC Dallas. His brother actually winning that MLS reality contest as one of the best young soccer players, but rather than take a contract with Dallas, decided to go to River, and it's worked out pretty well for both of them. Rogelio now with Monterrey, and Funes Mori, a promising young defender at Everton, in front of Tim Howard, who might be the man in goal when the U.S. heads back to Trinidad and Tobago, the site of one of their greatest victories. We'll have that match, by the way, coming up on Tuesday.
For now, as Brazil said, really got to get their mojo working in a serious way. Looking at 5 or 7 minutes away from seeing Dunga around the table, and he will have words. That'll be all words of praise from Tata Martino, Phil. This team earned the right to go ahead. And what a wonderfully, beautifully crafted goal it was.
With the corner, Lucas poked free. They'll take the throw in again.
My type of goal. Wonderful team football, intelligent running off of the ball, and split millimeter perfection passes. Believing that he was going to get to the end of it was Lavezzi. But you treat to look at it half-time for the lads in the studio. I know Sullivan will be absolutely drooling over that one. Great goal.
Miranda sends it across. David Luiz, very dangerous on the long ball, but Argentina shutting down pretty much every attack.
Tell you as well, how bad was the defending from Brazil on that goal? I'm not so sure that was too bad at all. It looked as if everybody had the right player at the right time. Everybody was covered, but it was just the perfection of his men's passes that really just undone them. Picked the lock 3 times.
Remember World Cup qualifying, they kept these two teams away for decades. Didn't really have their first World Cup qualifier head-to-head, Ray, until 2000. Argentina has won 2 of the 6 since then. Brazil 3 with 1 drawn, but Argentina 2 wins and just 1 loss in the 3 prior at home against Brazil. Be a huge win. Instead of being among the bottom 3, they could jump up into a tie for the top 5. Willian. David Luiz, but just over the crossbar.
Fabulous ball, slack defending from Argentina to allow this man a wonderful running start and a jump onto it. He leaves Otamendi and just kind of direct his header a little bit further down. It's a great attempt from the Paris Saint-Germain man.
But you repeat yourself, and we almost did as well. It was a PSG man scoring on one end, almost equalized by his club teammate on the other. Less than 4 to go in regulation here in half number 1. A bit surprised that Brazil is just a bit off kilter.
Well, conservative right from the get-go, just doing enough to put the cork in the nose of Argentina, but still Argentina were giving indications that they could find their way through right from the early going, Phil. The first 5 minutes set the tempo for Argentina, and then it seemed that Brazil had started to figure them out a little bit. Good break.
Don't forget Volkswagen halftime to analyze everything. Maybe an equalizer here, just over Oliveira, who couldn't stay airborne, nodded away for a corner. One of the questions about Dunga in the starting lineup, Lucas Lima, who has been relatively quiet at the expense of Douglas Costa, who has been red hot and on the bench. Hulk, another one, who's been playing quite well for Zenit, but he did not make the starting lineup. But it does mean they do have some in reserve. Willian from the corner flag. Nice little caress down. Oliveira with a touch.
Oh.
Deflected away. Higuaín spots the run. Di Maria's off to the races.
It's a fabulous pass.
Di Maria cuts to the inside. Arias got the ball and the man. And it looks like it will only draw whistles from the crowd.
Oh, that's a wonderful intervention by Arias. What a ball over the top. Played into stride by Gonzalo Higuaín again. Wonderful ball for Di Maria to chase down.
Neymar tripped up, pops up with the ball, eludes Biglia. Lucas Felipe Luis back for Neymar. In fact, he's been playing with Barcelona. Not real rust,
Great
chipping
ball.
it forward. Good drop Otamendi, and a smart play from Biglia.
Right pass again from Neymar. Stabs it beautifully into the direction of his number 9, Ricardo Oliveira. Just didn't get enough weight behind it that time, our junior.
Miranda peeks in front of Higuaín to head it clear. Of course, quite familiar back in their Madrid derby days, even though both have since moved on. Quite familiar as well. Inter and Napoli challenging for a Scudetto. Final minute of regulation in the first half. And for all of the dominance we're talking about, it's still just a 1-0 scoreline. I think Dunga would be content to walk home with a point. They'll be taking on Peru in their next match midweek. Argentina on the road to Colombia. Of course, those matches also on beIN Sports. Smart play.
But the problem Dunga is going to have to solve is how much they can commit going forward, because this Argentina side have shown, not just on the goal, but on a number of wonderful counter-attacks, that they've got the greyhounds to release and really trouble at Brazilian backline. Ball.
Lucas from the left flank whips it across, trying to sneak that in past Romero.
Now, does he go for the goal here? There's a wonderful setup for the goal. There's the first domino that fell, and then this one. Higuaín sees Lavezzi, and Lavezzi's like the rabbit at the greyhound track. He ain't ever going to catch him. Puts it into stride for him beautifully, and there's the wonderful celebration from the man who started his football at Estudiantes.
Nice back heel from the ex-Riverman back on his old ground, trying to round David Luiz, but he can't get to the other end.
Look at the hard run by Higuaín again. The crowd recognize it. Nicely covered up that time by David Luiz.
Ball skips away, and there will be a late whistle. 1 minute left of time added. 1 minute till Dunga tries to put the pieces of the puzzle together.
A lot to address. William's been kept in check as well in this game. Certainly, I think you're going to see Douglas Costa coming in maybe at the start of the second half, Phil.
Felipe Luis. Maybe Hulk as well. Ball skips away, stepping in Alves, but he misses the ball. Banega and Lavezzi can't maintain possession. Good step in by Luis Gustavo.
Too eager there, Lavezzi, to get that first break on his defender.
And that's going to do it. 34th minute goal from Lavezzi, the difference. Argentina leads by 1 at the half.
As I said, they earned the right to start winning this game in the manner in which they played. They pressed onto Brazil incessantly and really set up countless opportunities. Higuaín wasn't able to capitalize on one himself, but he set up Lavezzi beautifully. And María likes what he sees, addressing the troops for a little bit more concentration, perhaps. Magic from Albiceleste men. Brazil need to come out of the long grass and start hunting.
Okay, we're here. There's Dad, Mom, the twins, Aunt Alice.
You didn't tell me Aunt Alice was coming.
Of course.
Don't forget Grandpa. Can the test drive be over now? Maybe just head back to the dealership.
Don't you want to meet my family?
Yep, totally.
It's practically yours, but we still need your signature. The Sign Then Drive event. 0 do-it signing, 0 down, 0 deposit, and 0 first month's payment on a new Jetta and other select Volkswagen models.
Here's something to shout from the mountaintop. Cricket's plans start at $35 a month after $5 auto pay credit, with more 4G LTE coverage nationwide than T-Mobile or Sprint. Cricket Wireless, something to smile about.
The stars play here. Beckham, captain of Great Britain and Ireland. Zidane, captain of the rest of the world. UNICEF Match for Children, an international friendly for charity. Tomorrow on beIN Sports.
We are red, white, and blue. We are one nation. We are one team. We are united. The U.S. national soccer team World Cup qualifiers are here on beIN Sports. They are powerful. Some are heroes. And others are warriors. But only one can be champion. Aviva Premiership Rugby Guinness Pro 12 on beIN Sports.
This Sunday, the 2018 FIFA World Cup qualifiers continues with 3 exciting games from Africa. The national teams play here on beIN Sports.
This halftime is brought to you by Volkswagen. Isn't it time for German engineering?
Hey It's your Volkswagen Express halftime show. We're halfway through Argentina and Brazil, your Super Classico rescheduled version. Lavezzi scoring Argentina's first goal of the qualifying campaign. And we'll see if Brazil can mount a comeback in the second half. We'll review that goal in just a moment here at halftime. This is what's coming up next here on beIN Sports. We're going into CONCACAF qualifying. It's kickoff day of the fourth round. Group stage, Jamaica and Panama, two of the podium finishers at this summer's Gold Cup. That's coming up right away. And then in 8 days from now, it is El Clasico. We've got a number of watch parties for you to attend across the US of A, New York, Los Angeles, Houston, or right here in Miami. So join us for any one of those. We've got special guests at all of them, including right here in Miami. We're going to have former Barcelona and Spain forward David Villa. So join us for Clasico next week, Saturday, November 21st, right here on beIN Sports. Halfway through the Super Clasico, 45 minutes still to come between Argentina and Brazil.
Alucinante. By design. Seduciendo. By design.
Ay, qué resaca. Necesito un caldo de camarón ya. ¿Hermana?
¿Otra vez crudo? Por favor, esta vez toma nota, porque todos los domingos es lo mismo. Vas a...
Receta de camarón. La mejor receta de camarón es otro trago.
Tío Mario.
Mi receta de caldo de camarón no solo es bueno para la cruda, sino pregúntale a ellas.
Qué resacón. Amor, ¿qué desayunar?
Caldito de camarón.
Teletransporta los buenos consejos de Tío Mario con nuestra app. Bájala ya y obtén $1 gratis en llamadas internacionales. Buzz Revolution. Une tus mundos.
The Serie A is on beIN Sports. In a match between two top-level historic clubs, Juventus has a mountain to climb if they are to defend their Scudetto title. Milan are looking to put even more pressure on their old enemies. Juventus versus Milan, November 21st on beIN Sports.
Hello and welcome to The Locker Room. Everything you need to know about your favorite leagues. Analysis.
La Liga became the most expensive league in the world to win in terms of points.
Controversy.
It's money, easy goals. I know that, but he gets you those easy goals.
Every Monday and Friday night, don't miss out on The Locker Room.
Only one network gives you more options in sports. beIN Sports. The best football in the world. La Liga from Spain. Serie A from Italy. Ligue 1 from France. The Capital One Cup, the Football League Championship from England. And the CONCACAF and CONMEBOL qualifiers. International fights, boxing championships. The most important tennis tournaments with the top-ranking superstars. All the adrenaline of SBK Superbike and Rallycross. The best rugby of the planet. Aviva Premiership, RBA Six Nations, and Guinness Pro 12. Cycling, major competitions in Europe, and much more. The most comprehensive coverage of international sports is beIN Sports.
Volkswagen Express halftime show continues. We are looking in at the Monumental in Argentina. Has the fans happy at the break. Ezequiel, the man with his 7th goal. Take a look at our highlights and how we got here.
Well, this Brazil side come in on a good win, but they didn't carry that form into this game. It was Argentina right from the get-go. Biglia would start this pass movement, a lovely ball fed out wide, and then Roncaglia would try this audacious attempt either to find Lavezzi at the back post or the back post itself. He comes close to it either way, and nicely dealt with in the end. Hi, Allison. Just 5 minutes in. Otamendi going into block challenge. Tackle after tackle to set up Di Maria with the green. Makes David Luiz's little lollipop. Teammates, but not tonight. And he places it into a beautiful, inviting area for Lavezzi, but the ball just flashes too quickly for Gonzalo Higuaín, excuse me. And again, the antagonizer would start this wonderful movement that would lead to the goal. It's a brilliant ball, truly, from Higuaín. When we look at it again, Lavezzi burglarizes Brazil's box, but look at this pass from this man, the wonderful Gonzalo Higuaín. He ventilates this pass. He breathes life into this pass. It's a wonderful red carpet that Lavezzi just buries with sumptuous ease. Set pieces would be the main reliant source of attack for Brazil. Neymar's been very quiet, but he's been in wonderful company. Ricardo Oliveira's gone missing in action. Williams been quiet. And a lot of anonymous performances from Brazil. Dunga going to have to earn his money in that locker room now, because Argentina are cooking.
When a mountain needs to refresh things, it doesn't call for a cleaning service. It uses the cold to sift through every single speck. So if you wonder what inspired us to cold filter our beer, well, you're looking at it. Coors Light, born in the Rockies.
Growing up in Kenya, my sister and I were very close. But like any sisters, we fought a lot. She always got new clothes, and I always got hand-me-downs. Now she's putting her children through school in Kenya. We still fight sometimes, especially when I send money for the kids. I tell her, buy some clothes for the younger one, and we both laugh.
With nearly 500,000 locations, our app and online, this is moving money for better.
The stars play here. Beckham, captain of Great Britain and Ireland. Zidane, captain of the rest of the world. UNICEF Match for Children, an international friendly for charity. Tomorrow on beIN Sports.
They are powerful. Some are heroes. And others are warriors. But only one can be champion. Aviva Premiership Rugby, Guinness Pro 12 on beIN Sports. It is the competition that paralyzes the entire country from north to south. A mix of disappointment and hope emerging in every play. Where everything will be decided on the field. The Copa do Brasil final is here. Santos versus Palmeiras. First leg, November 25th on beIN Sports.
Lavezzi's goal, the difference at the half, but still 45 minutes to go. Could be Argentina's first victory on the road to Russia, but can they close the deal at home? Stick around and find out on beIN Sports.
This halftime was brought to you by Volkswagen. Isn't it time for German engineering?
You won't believe it till you see it. But at Cricket Wireless, you can get smartphones like the LG Rizio or the Nokia Lumia 635 for as low as $19.99 when you bring your number. Cricket Wireless, something to smile about.
Mexico, the giant of the CONCACAF, makes its debut on beIN Sports. A new era towards Russia 2018. Under the manager Juan Carlos Osorio, El Tri confronts the process with all of its most famous stars on the pitch. Now the challenge is Honduras. Tuesday, Honduras, Mexico on beIN Sports.
Okay, we're here. There's Dad, Mom, the twins, Aunt Alice.
You didn't tell me Aunt Alice was coming.
Of course.
Don't forget Grandpa. Can the test drive be over now? Maybe just head back to the dealership.
Don't you want to meet my family?
Yep, totally.
It's practically yours, but we still need your signature. The Sign Then Drive event. 0 due-it signing, 0 down, 0 deposit, and 0 first month's payment on a new Jetta and other select Volkswagen models.
Antonio Arias ready to get the second half underway. If there was any thought that Dunga might be shaking things up to start this second half, it does not appear to be the case. Oliveira still up front. Lucas Lima and Elias still in the midfield. And like the assistant trying to figure out how Argentina did not score more in the first half.
Unquestionably had better opportunities, more numerous opportunities. Their style of play was simply better. Defensively, they were in control of all the sparky players. The Barcelona boys just shooting blanks. Neymar's had no support of his number 9, but his team haven't had the ball enough. In Argentina, I don't think it would be a massive difference in possession, but it certainly will favor Argentina, and they have made taken better advantage of that possession. Willian has been isolated as well. Douglas Costa, who was said earlier, has been absolutely in incredible form for Bayern Munich, just dominating teams, and he's been a big part of it. And you would think that a man who's keeping Ribéry out of the Munich side might lend a little bit more personality to this Brazil side, and I cannot believe I'm seeing that. I'm shaking my head saying that we're lacking a little bit of personality from Brazil. Dani Alves trying to adjust the gyroscopes of all the players around him, but they need to be more urgent. They need to be more quick with their decision making, the attitude and the manner of running off of the ball, inviting passes for Willian. It's got to be there. There's so many numerous things that are lacking in this Brazilian first half performance. The second half has got to pull out a whole different set of attitudes, Phil. It starts with attitude. They've got to get that right first.
I'm not sure if this is just a little bit of a mind game. Argentina not out there yet. Brazil is. And Ray, it is strange to say that against Argentina, their arch rival, Brazil is flat.
Yep. They certainly are. I think that's fair comment, Phil.
Is it the 24-hour delay?
I don't think so at all. I mean, it's certainly benefited Argentina. If you're looking at it like that, it depends what side of the telescope you're looking out of. I think that this, whatever those words that were stinging into Brazil, I would have hoped that Dunga, for the Brazilian fans and for that great country that is far used to a different type of football than what we've seen, not just in the last 2 tournaments when they got down to the business end, but they had produced nothing like this. Look at the running off of the ball here by this wonderful Gonzalo, and then the accuracy of the pass. It beats Dani Alves, Lavezzi, but in front of him, David Luiz doesn't do anything. Look at the late arriving run here, streaking in from Lavezzi from way out. He arrives by stealth, and again, the submarine's sonar wouldn't be able to pick him up. He comes barreling in. Whose responsibility was it? Was it Dani Alves' man to pick up? Dani Alves was protecting that far side, but again, the accuracy of the pass was everything with that goal from Gonzalo Higuaín, ex-River Plate man himself.
And we are underway, second half getting started at the Monumental. The goal from Lavezzi in the 34th minute. Higuaín setting it up. An early chance here for Brazil. But Romero handles the pressure well. No changes in the lineups. Romero still in goal for the Albiceleste. Roncaglia, Otamendi, Funes Mori, and Rojo the back line. Meanwhile, Mascherano, Biglia, and Banega, the three in the middle. Di Maria, Lavezzi, and Higuaín, the trident up front. For Brazil, the 23-year-old Alisson gave up one goal in a victory against Venezuela. He's given up one here, and now he needs some help. Alves, Miranda, David Luiz, and Felipe Luiz, the back four. Luis Gustavo, Elias, Lucas Lima, Willian, Neymar, and Ricardo Oliveira rounding out the attack. And Ray, we talked about how Oliveira responding well as that ball whistles through the 18. And his second summer at 35, but he has been invisible today.
Higuaín drawing two shirts to him and looking beyond him for late arriving support. Nothing coming that time.
Otamendi again.
Quick, wonderful play.
Well thought out by Higuaín. Squares it for Banega, drives it low, and a slide from Alves. Second shot rattles off the post.
So unlucky. Banega and screams at deaf heaven with his bootless cries. This is magic from Gonzalo. Take a look at this beautiful dish off right here. Back heel flick. Lovely little lead ball. He pummels this one and he gets a second bite like Mike Tyson, but he cannot draw blood. Wonderful effort. Millimeters away from number two. Magic again from the Napoli man, Higuaín.
Off the corner, out comes Alisson, chasing shadows. This time gets a whistle in his favor. And remember, Alisson needed to have his wrist wrapped up in the first half. Didn't play much of a role in the goal from Lavezzi.
Give and go again. Wonderful little touch on. Poetry stuff in between Otamendi and Gonzalo Higuaín to set up the Sevilla man, who's been in good goal-scoring form himself.
Ray, if you are Dunga, and it's not a matter of personnel at the moment, he hasn't changed anyone. How do you change the mentality, though?
Well, that's what the locker room's for, Phil. You would hope that not just on the X's and O's, but the actual vitriol, that he can look at a player in the eye and say and demand more. As I said, early on in the game, Tata Martino would have been glowing on the inside the way his team set out in this game. It's been a continuum. The other side, the same, but in a negative regard.
Mascherano leans in against his Barca teammate Neymar, who goes down in pain. A little slap on the back from Mascherano. Snuck inside, Miranda will clear. In a week from tonight, they'll be taking on Real Madrid and working together. But today, even if Mascherano hasn't been at his best, neither is Neymar.
Well, again, on the impressive Biglia by Willian. Can he get across him? What he hasn't been on the ball. I tell you, Lucas Biglia, another man, plays his football in Italy with Lazio, doing an ace job out there.
Ball deflected away off Willian. He'll move up and try it again.
They just look subdued, the Canarino. It doesn't look as if there's any spark to them. And when you've got players like Willian, who is a truly electric player, being subdued the way he is, it's real concern for Brazil. It's good play. It's going to be held up. What a tackle.
But Mascherano slides it away.
They've got some good targets to pick out, and David Luiz arriving late as well, along with Miranda. It's a
nice
good
cross.
ball.
Willian bounces up, and Mascherano makes sure it doesn't find Neymar.
Beautiful service. Great setup by Willian. That's an absolutely perfect pass from the Chelsea man. Dropping it into that 6-yard box. Nobody there.
Near post. Launching in. Higuaín. Right, he needed a match like this, although in all honesty, a goal would not hurt. But after the Copa America final, there were some bitter feelings. Neymar. His ejection in the Copa America knocked him out for 4 matches. Poked away. Dunga looking for answers.
Been a wonderful return for Gonzalo Higuaín, who, as you say, Phil, has had his rightful critics in a lot of ways, but back at the place that he started, at River Plate Stadium, he's got to be absolutely enthralled with the way he's showed up in a big way.
Ball poked free.
Mascherano being told by Gonzalo, give it to me quicker. He's hungry for the ball, because he knows he's playing well.
Buenos Mori out wide for Rojo. Banega also pushing wide. His pass just carries a bit too far. Then Peru and Paraguay to follow. CONCACAF qualifying next week as well, continuing, including our first look at Mexico under Juan Carlos Osorio as they'll take on Honduras. Again, that's set for Tuesday. Check out beINsports.com for details. Escorted to the ground, Banega threaded through. Oliveira challenging, but Romero quick off his line.
Not much playing out of the back by Sergio. The times that the ball's being played back to him, it's just get it long, deep and high and out of bounds.
David Luiz. And 7 minutes in, Brazil is a bit more advanced. Or maybe with the lead, Argentina dropping back. Masche,
fabulous.
Textbook.
World class.
Pinches in front of Lucas and steals it away, but then gifted right back as Banega loses his footing.
He got checking back on that beautiful ball from Mascherano. Could have let it run the other way.
There's Argentina at Colombia next week. Brazil will be home against Peru. Uruguay-Chile, one of the highlight matches. And Ecuador looking to go 4-0. And they'll be on the road at Venezuela. Have a good chance to do so. Paraguay-Bolivia, the other match. Starting to have a feeling, Ray, that just as we saw signs when Sampaoli took over Chile, Gustavo Quinteros has something special in Ecuador. Felipe Luis bursting forward. Roncaglia back into the middle. Neymar tees it up, whips it wide. Romero had it all the way. Whistles pouring down on the Brazilian star.
Good play from Felipe Luis, ex-Figueirense man. Puts the brakes on, sets Neymar up. Mascherano has seen this a lot in practice. Doesn't get close to him. Nicely elusive by Neymar, adjusting his crosshairs.
You saw Mascherano realizing if he steps up, Neymar might dribble past him.
That's right.
Quite content to let him shoot from distance.
Yeah, well said. Switches on beautifully, not delivered.
Alves.
Not Biglia headed, identified perfectly there, but just skipped away from him.
Buenos Mori, and he's off to the hunt.
It's there now.
Chance for Lavezzi, 2 in the box. Whipped across for Funes Mori and David Luiz first. Alisson out to grab it second.
Good attack by the Everton man, Funes Mori, waiting at the station. Ball sent out, lovely, lovely one-touch football. Lavezzi sends a beautiful curvaceous ball in. Gonzalo can't quite meet it at the near post. Funes Mori gets his nose pushed out of done by David Luiz. Good interception from the ex-Vitoria man.
Ray, Argentina could probably use something to celebrate. Not just is the Federation about to go through a rather hard-fought election. Luis Segura, the man who stepped in when Julio Grondona passed away, now looking for that seat on a permanent basis. Nice from Allison. Marcelo Tinelli, the man that's challenging him, but Ray, the country is going through a rather bitter election as well for its new president. So maybe a bit of a distraction.
Finally, Douglas Costa getting the eye of the tiger, saying, put me in, boss. And he's going to be thrown into the lion's den. Well played.
Stolen away by Luis Gustavo. Neymar poked in the right direction for Brazil. Through from Dani Alves, but Oliveira wasn't quite ready.
He's flat-footed. He wanted to run into the box. Ricardo Oliveira wanting the ball into his feet as a hold-up man, but Danny's much more used to those balls being played into those passing lanes. And Luis Suarez to turn and get into the box, and certainly Oliveira, 35-year-old, not going to make that type of pass, and he's been pulled off with the shepherd's crook. This is a different kettle of sharks coming in now, finally, in the shape of Douglas Costa, ex-Gremio man. For Argentina, Phil, as this game goes on, you learned lessons you would expect in that game against Ecuador, and even on the road against Paraguay. But, well, too slack and way open for Ecuador's, as you say, maybe a counter-attack. They've been proving it in that last game last night, so it wasn't just a pushover team that beat Argentina.
And it's not just their attack, their defense with the young Dominguez in goal, the veteran IOV. Paredes, undersung or unsung right back.
It was a complete performance last night for sure. Ecuador, ultra impressive, nothing less.
Brazil will find out in August, of course, after these two ties. They'll take off until March. Argentina will resume at Chile, Brazil hosting Uruguay, but will either of these managers be there? Nice from Costa. With the switch, you expect to see Neymar taking more of a role in the middle. Looks like Lucas Lima also stepping up. Here is Neymar. Drives it across.
Great ball.
Alves looking for help outside of the boot.
Great ball!
Met by Costa, and he heads it off the crossbar, volleyed by Lucas, and it's off the hands and in. We're tied at 1.
Dani Alves leading the disco down on the field, as well he should. When we take a look at this pass from the wonderful Dani Alves, this is what he's all about. Now Lucas Lima gets in, the Santos man, and strikes pay dirt on the second or third follow-up. Look at this ball from Dani Alves. That is absolutely magnificent. It rattles the ball, Douglas Costa, but then Lucas Lima follows up, and with one blink of his bulging Brazilian eyes, he buries it, catapulting this home. Sergio Romero does well to find it, but Danny says, let's have a good dance, lads. This game back on the boil. As you said, a different attitude in this second half from Brazil that was desperately needed. A great goal set up by Dani Alves.
Ray Costa out there for just a minute and creates the chance, and some fortune favoring the brave that time as it rattles off the crossbar and right to Lucas for his first goal for Brazil.
Yep. The crossbar being fortunate for Brazil. At the other end, it wasn't quite so kind for Éver Banega. That's the luck. And this game just went up 20 degrees.
And Lucas, the player that was brought in from Internacional of Porto Alegre when Neymar moved to Barcelona. 30 minutes left. Is there a winner in this one? María nodded down. Otamendi, and David Luiz flies in front.
Again, Saved the bacon so many times, David Luiz. This is a difficult ball to get away as well. Look, he's facing his own goal. He's got to get it up, high and away. Just so beautifully.
Looking for Otamendi again.
Pep in the step now.
Threaded through.
It's a good ball, hard running off of it as well.
And it's knocked wide. Di Maria back on defense. And even with the equalizer, still some room for Neymar to get involved in this match.
Seems as if Dunga set them up with one sort of mentality in the first half, and then the second half, or maybe it's just a half-time talk and get together. This is a different complexion for Brazil now. Now that they're back in the game, it's a great pass.
Kicked forward, Lavezzi. He's got help and support. Tries to drive through Miranda, but can't. 7-3 in shots. But Argentina unable to take advantage, and now they're level. Banega drops it in. Higuaín got stepped on. Alisson quick off his line. Arias sliding through. Otamendi on Neymar.
It wasn't a slide, Phil. It was a jump, and he's going to go into the book for this as well. He should. It's a Bob Beeman type of tackle. A great Olympian long jumper. That Otamendi must have been watching, because he absolutely jumps and leaves both legs, as I think we'll see. There you go. It's outlawed now.
Oh, Otamendi in the book. Felipe Luis, the only other yellow, along with Lucas Lima for his challenge just moments ago. Looks like another sub getting set to check in for Brazil.
Yep, sends blood in the water now. A wonderful change of character from this Brazilian side. As you said though, Phil, certainly a big degree of good fortune, let's just say, about the goal, but it was pure Brazilian class to trigger that one onto the target by Lucas Lima, off of the bench and on the scoreboard.
Well, now getting a chance to step in, Renato Augusto. Is it the goal scorer who might be exiting? 27-year-old from Corinthians, making his 4th appearance. And it is Lucas who exits. Well, did get the goal. Now, the ex-Flamengo man back with Otimao in Brazil. Let's see if he can find his debut goal. That one just sails away, and it looks like Tata Martino's Argentina has lost the plot a bit.
A wonderful pendulum of football swung two ways here tonight. All the momentum for Argentina disappeared like a ghost through a fog. They're going to have a lot of character about them to get back into this game and get this crowd back into them, because it's not as if Higuaín's team haven't played good football in this opening exchanges in the second half either. It could have been 2-0 up, but the big white skinny friend of Alisson saved him.
Nice touch by Mascherano, near side Di Maria.
Still in.
Barely as he walks the tightrope. Now drops it in, making the run Lavezzi. Alisson again reading it well. Look away from Alves. First touch Renato, but off target. Nice from Felipe Luis. Poked away from Costa. Nice from Roncaglia.
Great
Some
turn.
room to roam for Lavezzi. Not a lot of help upfield, just Higuaín. The ball sails all the way to the near side. Now Di Maria joins the attack.
Quick feet.
Cuts to the inside,
magical.
back to his left. But can't quite get the shot through.
Unfortunately for Angel, he doesn't identify Lavezzi, who was wide open, free as a bird in the park on that back post. Di Maria makes his own space miraculously. Take a look at this. Takes on David Luiz, sells him a bill of goods, and leaves him with twisted blood. And just at the back post, Lavezzi wide open, but not able to get through the second defender. Brilliant football from the PSG man.
First real threat from Argentina in the second half. Midway through, a draw probably does Brazil a little better. This is the road match of their two legs against Argentina. Meanwhile, for Tata Martino, it would mean 3 straight without a victory to start out, and even more pressure heading up to Colombia for game 4. Roncaglia. Again, Di Maria. Mismeasured if he thought about dropping that one in. Not quite the wealth of options for Tata Martino that Dunga has, although they do have the two young emerging talents.
Wonderful ball from Neymar to his teammate in Barcelona to set up this good attempt under the crossbar. Doesn't quite find it, but then it drops into the compass of Lucas Lima. It brings a smile to Grumpy's face.
Nice from Banega, a little bump from Alves for his efforts. Is this time to bring in an Angel Correa or a Paulo Dybala? And would it be Higuaín you would pull out?
Not sure about that at all.
Offside flag coming up.
Lavezzi's covered a lot of ground in this game, Phil. They've been hard, hurtful runs as well. Very industrious. Going to be an easy choice who to pull off. Really tactical, this one. Nobody playing badly in the blue and white shirts for my money.
Whistle from the referee, even if the crowd didn't want it. Quickly restarted. Banega back from Masche. The Mendy shows. Roncaglia pushing forward. Banega maybe a bit more freedom as Argentina looking to the bench. It is going to be a substitute, but neither of the two youngsters. Instead, it's going to be Nico Gaitan about ready to check in. Here's Masche off to the races. 2 in the box. Gets the cross in. Higuaín trying to camp out. David Luiz there first. Smart from Costa. As Felipe Luis will clear it away. Banega again. Trying the back heel, Di Maria. Felipe Luis lunging to get it, and now Renato Augusto coming away with it. Corinthians man just shy, still in play. And poked away. Quickly restarted from Lavezzi. Gaitan will have to wait. Felipe Luis to his left, and he'll put it into touch. And now they should be able to get the substitute in. And don't forget, a week from today, it will be a chance to watch several of these players duel in one of the biggest club rivalries, if not the biggest, and it might even mark the return of Messi back in training yesterday. We'll find out what it feels like on both sides. Patrick Kluivert, Luis Garcia going to join us live and direct from the Bernabeu a week from today. Lavezzi out, the goal scorers both watching. What can Gaitan do? Mascherano drives it across.
Tremendous pass.
Rojo looking for help. The cross deflected. They'll head to the corner flag and try it from there. Nico Gaitan, the 27-year-old, another ex-Boca boy, but now in his 4th season with Benfica. Kind of similar to that Agüero-Tevez build. Whipped and deflected, but off target. They'll try it again. Biglia from long range.
A brave effort. This is a confident strike. And wonderfully well in Italy, of course, for Lazio. Stepping into a looping ball like that. Coming into it.
Another in-swinger off the left boot of Di Maria. But he'll play it back instead. Biglia, Di Maria, and nowhere near the target. Effective boots. Into the final 20 minutes, and for Martino, is it the final 20 minutes? He'll likely get the chance against Colombia, but Nestor Peckerman also under pressure there, coming off of a draw of his own against Chile.
That's enough to get you sacked nowadays. Getting a point against the South American champions. Crazy.
3 straight without a victory. Not looking very good on the resume. And again, remember, Ray, it's a lot of time for federation presidents to think before they next suit up in March. Costa tangles with Otamendi. It's Gustavo doing well, and then all the way back to Romero. 69th appearance for the Man U backup.
Credit Brazil for making this competition in front of us a lot more tighter. Well played.
Bursting through. Funes Mori got a touch. Get up, says the referee. Now
Perfect
deflected
place.
off Funes Mori. Straight back to Brazil, though. Neymar in the middle of the park. Neymar with an extra touch tries to bring it back to his right. Otamendi bangs off the referee. Now it's Arias from long range.
I must admit, in lifetime, thought the foul against Willian might have stood up. The goalkeeper, the referee having a perfect look at it. It's a wonderful run by Neymar, and blue and white shirts converge on him. Quickly, Otamendi, David Luiz smacking it off the referee, telling him to get out the way. Here's the challenge. That's a foul. Clearly not called.
Referee normally one to blow the whistle. That time let it go. Another good ball forward. Neymar checks the mirror. A tangle behind the play. Arias uses that to his advantage. Willian in the box.
Oh, he's
drives through. Deflected shot wide.
Wonderful quick feet again. Dancing the ball between his legs on the run. This ball gets packed into Willian. Watch this for abracadabra. Right there. Absolutely superlative skill on the run. Tremendous play from the Chelsea man, ex-Corinthians.
Few flurries in the second half, but much of the pressure from the visitors. And they find a go-ahead goal in the 75th. Willian to the spot. Headed down Miranda, but it goes awry. Mascherano plays it smart and out for a goal kick. Wearing the captain's armband, drawing the spotlight.
Here's a look at the wonderful, incredible skill on the run between the two defenders and making them look like a row of fence posts.
Showing flashes of his old Corinthian self.
He's up for best player in the English Premier League despite his team's struggles at Chelsea. That's how good Willian has been.
Mascherano appealing for some sympathy from the ref.
Good
Biglia
turn.
with a touch to get around Felipe Luis. Di
Wonderful
Maria
turn.
just poked away. Won by Luis Gustavo. All's fair, although looks like Arias trying to make sure things stay calm.
It's going to be a severe talking to, or is it going to be a card? Because Di Maria lunges in here to try to reclaim a pass he was never going to get. We've seen them given for a yellow card. Not a dirty player at all. His frustrations coming out. Atletico Madrid against ex-Real Madrid again. Always going to spill over into uncivil words.
Biglia on the far side couldn't bring it under control. Good touch to the middle. Miranda wins it back briefly. Now again pounces off Higuaín. The ball pinballing in the midfield. Banega tries to bring it under control. Oh, Luis Gustavo with a free bump on the ref.
I think it was referee bumping into him.
Give him a card. U.S. taking on Trinidad and Tobago on Tuesday. Christopher Sullivan and Ali Krieger among the coverage. You can check out beINsports.com for details. Haven't even talked about a lot of the African coverage that's been going on beIN Sports Connect. Ghana held to a scoreless draw in the Comoros today. Just one of the surprising results. Would this be a surprise, tied at 1, Ray?
Well, given the overall performance of both teams in the first half and second half, I think as it stands, it's arguably a fair score. Still think Argentina's got more threat in them.
Ball in for Higuaín and touched back.
And the fabulous ball played into a wicked area to defend. It's in behind this defense, and they've got to face their own goal. And again, Higuaín just not able to pounce quickly enough. Lovely searching ball that beats both Felipe Luis and David Luiz.
Ray, for all of the beauty of his pass across that led to the Argentine goal, it's not challenging in the first half and flailing here in the second that are going to bring back World Cup and Copa America memories. In many ways, to chase the ghosts away, Higuaín needs to get on the board tonight. Nice from Neymar, and slapped to safety by Romero.
Much more identifiable now, isn't he? He's had some wonderful squirrel on a telephone wire runs. The ball velcroed to his feet, and a lovely blast that would have probably spanked the top bar.
Costa deflected in off Higuaín. David Luiz sends it to goal, cleared to Elias. Willian with the outside. Back to defend Banega. David Luiz beats his PSG mate Di Maria there. Back to Miranda. And they'll scoot it all the way back to Alisson. Some whistles from the home crowd here at the Monumental. Ray, I know you were somewhat dismissing the possibility. Martino's not going to be dismissed in the middle of these two matches, but a very real chance they could be winless through 4 if they can't get a win here today and stumble against Colombia.
Oh, nicely.
But brings it back to his right, tries to caress it in, cleared by Banega, not far enough. Nice from Felipe Luis. Dancing around the challenge, Costa, but his blast straight to Romero. Poor clearance by the United netminder. Good step up Alves again. Elias too fine. Now it's Biglia's turn. Nice from Mascherano. Now Biglia leading a bit of a break. But Brazil back in numbers. Final 10 minutes. Gaetan over Higuaín and just blasted away by Renato Augusto. Other substitution getting set to check in. Brazil has already used 2. This will be Argentina's second. And it will be Eric Lamela checking in, and a nice round of applause from the River fans who remember.
Well, I think for all the fans as well, it's a good performance, especially in the first half. Set the table up for the lead goal, but overall, it's a very, very impressive first 45 minutes. And now, Dybala, different type of player entirely, a lot more quickness and sharpness. Here he is.
Good ball in, gets the touch, but David Luiz there first. Flailing to clear Felipe Luis. Douglas Costa, again, Brazilian bravery. As it's back to David Luiz to clear. So it looks as though Correa will have to wait.
Options.
Mascherano sends it wide, just eluding Dybala. Ball through. Felipe Luis under pressure.
A poor ball from Mascherano into Dybala. It's just not considerate enough. He likes the intention, but he needed to measure that and give Dybala that precious half a second more on the ball. It's a difference at this level between night and day.
María surrounded by 3, bundled over by Renato Augusto, who is brought down hard by Mascherano right in front of the referee, and the card already out.
Comes in so hard through the back here that he might have pulled his hamstring. That would be bad news for the Clásico.
Already enough injuries to boot for Barca and Real. And the worst part is they've already used their last sub.
Poor ball from Mascherano that we just saw there. That would have been perfectly measured for Dybala. It would have been one-on-one with the keeper.
Using the speed, Costa, but a little too quick.
It's a great look at that opportunity for Dybala. That's where he loves to be fed, into that area. Yeah.
Well, this is the hamstring pull or a cramp.
It's just a cramp. They had legs now.
And no substitutes left to burn. They might have to drop Biglia just a bit to help provide a cover. Of course, now with Lamela in there, there's someone else to drive the ship. Talked about Correa, but Dybala has been outstanding when given the chance at Juventus this season.
Yep. Special player.
And it just goes to show the depth that when you're missing a Messi, an Aguero, and a Tevez, there's still talent in the cupboard. He'll gut it out. Only 6.5 minutes left, but can Brazil take advantage of the Argentine captain's struggles? Brazil still with 1 substitute left. They do have Kaká on the bench, Oscar, and Hulk. At this point, Dunga holding off.
Another player that was being ignored by Dunga, of course, is the Liverpool man Coutinho, who's been absolutely radiant in the English Premier League.
Didn't even call him in, right?
Yep, the squad.
Looking, Lamela draws David Luiz out. Roncaglia, poke free by Renato Augusto. Douglas Costa maybe should have kept his cleats and not the dancing shoes. Up forward off Renato, straight back to Biglia.
Oh.
Gaetan almost dispossessed. Mascherano. Willian with a touch. It'll be Argentina throw. Nice. There's Mori, only his 4th cap. Gaetan onside, crosses looking for Di Maria. Felipe Luis forced to head it out.
Wonderful control by Gaetan out wide there. Did everything right, facing away from the goal, sends a lovely rainbow pass to the back.
Biglia with his right foot. Numbers there, but the header just goes awry. A chance for Otamendi.
Biglia sets the table beautifully, and it's a great effort.
Might have been Funes Mori actually cutting in front of him.
It is Funes Mori.
Final 4 minutes. Not easy to
Great
get a win on the
opportunity
road.
that was. That ball dropping down for the Everton man.
Arm came out from David Luiz, and it looked like Dybala took it across the face. Now Arias trying to keep things calm. The Brazilian defender goes in the book. Argentine fans baying for blood.
Nothing there, but there's plenty there. Arm comes right up intentionally. Cross him into the face.
Now this sets up a free kick. Will they pay the price? Gifted left foot of Di Maria ready to start this one out. The ex-Real man looking in as the Barca man backs away. Alisson keeping an eye on that back post. The line at the 18. Low, poorly delivered. Cleared away by Renato. Back to Di Maria though, on his weaker right foot, and he's going to run out of space. 88th minute.
As silky smooth as he was in that first half, he's been a little bit off of tune in the second with some of his touches, but he's given everything he has in his locker here today, Di Maria. It's an improved Argentina performance. The first half not able to be sustained though. They're still fighting for this winner.
Dybala just off target.
Oh,
stolen away though.
Nicely.
It's 4 on 3 if they hurry. Gaetan tried to thread it through for Dybala, but tackled at the last minute. Now it's David Luiz lunging in to try and win it. That's going to be another yellow, and he is gone. That's going to be more of an effect for their next match against Peru, but reckless from the Brazilian defender.
Well, he's claiming Biglia is making more of this than what needs to be. Right in front of the referee again. And in the referee's opinion, there's no mistaking it. It's a reckless challenge, out of control. And as you said, for the second yellow, jumps into him. That's certainly a yellow card, arguably a straight red. Jumps into the tackle, misses the ball, and goes right into Biglia. There can be no sort of protests about that. Or what he's feels as if he's got an axe to grind. I do not see it.
Ray, there's still no Thiago Silva on the bench for that match against Peru. A couple of debutant defenders. Here is one of the veterans coming in for his 4th appearance, Gil for Corinthians. Javi Paulista, Douglas Santos, the others, but Gil might be forced to start in the match against Peru. Can they take advantage? This will add a bit of added time, maybe up to 4 minutes. Scooting it forward, Di Maria. Deft touch for Dybala. Back post, Rojo.
That's a touch, corner kick.
Alisson didn't think so, but the referee a lot closer.
Great play by Dybala. Wonderful ball, intentionally cut back. Rojo tries to spank and definitely takes the deflection for this.
An outswinger, Alisson plays his line. Collision near the spot. Driven off a deflection up and over the crossbar. And now it's Dani Alves who's down in pain.
Wonderful theatrics by Dani.
Brazil trying to even the playing field a bit. Doesn't look like Arias is going to bite, although
certainly Alves looks as if he's fine now after that incredibly overreaction. We have a point. Let's take a look. Oh, he kicks out under the player.
And then as he's trying to step away, Funes Mori, maybe by accident, ball to the 6, flies past 3 bodies who are just a little too early to the station. And it will be a goal kick for Brazil. Well, it took a while for the pot to start to boil. Good look at Gaetan.
Well, for Argentina-Brazil type of game, there hasn't been an awful lot of vitriol, has there? But it's, as you said, spilled over a little bit as the oxygen has been struggling to get to the brain.
Look at our player focus. A great first half for Di Maria. Neymar showing some late flashes in the second half. Referee wanting the ball. And a drop ball. Now we've seen practically everything. Arias just puts it down into the corner. Still no sign as to how much time to be added. I guess we have maybe a couple more left to go. Mascherano. Whipped back towards Biglia, just enough of a touch. Argentina on the front foot now. Otamendi tried to sneak it in, but the cleats fail Lamela.
But David Luiz is saying that there was little contact, but the intention jumping into that tackle is what is being considered as dangerous play. I think it's a deserved yellow.
Right. He never quite showed the yellow. He might have agreed with you and halfway through said, nope, that's a red.
Yep.
Regardless, he's out for the rest of this one. He'll miss the match against Peru. And if it is a straight red, there's a good chance he might even be missing the next showdown at home against Uruguay. Felipe Luis. Arm reaching out. Down he goes, no call. Argentina trying to take advantage. Rojo pokes it down into the corner, but it rolls across. And Brazil looks to escape with a draw. And mention how hard it is on the road. Juan Carlos Osorio in Mexico with their first road match under their new boss against Honduras. It's also set for next Tuesday. Flex out across the goal line. Alisson ready to put it into play. Getting close to the final touch.
Well, as this game starts to come to the final death throes, a lot to contemplate. Brazil, Atamatino's man, first half impressive and wonderful in construction and attitude. A half-time scolding was needed by Dunga because Brazil were not at the races that first half, but they were in the second. They draw it back to get a good point, and still Argentina without a win in these qualifiers.
Lavezzi and Lucas the scores, but that's all we see in a 1-1 draw for Buenos Aires.
This game was brought to you in part by Miller Lite, Cricket, and Ford.